Hey guys, I wanted to make this video. I've been really trying to make sure that I come at it from a place of truth and logic and calmness. But I want to be very clear on some things and give you my perspective of what has happened and what will happen moving forward. Some things I absolutely know for certain will happen. Some things will be conjecture, and I will try to distinguish those when they come. But the assassination of Charlie Kirk is the worst thing that could have been done outside of them actually finishing the job with Trump. And the reason I say that is because whether you agree with Charlie or not, and I don't agree with everything anyone says. I don't agree with everything Trump does. I don't agree with everything the left does. I definitely don't agree with everything the right does. I definitely don't agree with everyone on anything, right? There's zero people on earth that I'm 100% congruent with. And I think that social media, and specifically the big three, which would be Facebook and Instagram and Twitter, I think are the biggest culprits of this. The news, I don't think anyone cares about. I think the news is literally just, it's on its way out. It's basically clickbait at this point. And that's how people, quote unquote, watch the news now. If you look at the ratings, nobody watches the news, and that's across all platforms, the left especially, but nobody watches the news. However, we have become a society that glorifies crazy. The crazier you are, the more attention and publicity you will get. The more threatening you are, the more extreme you are, the more eyeballs will pay attention to you, and the more platforms will pick it up. And we've gotten to a point where that has spilled into the real world, right? It's one thing to say things online and to type things, right? And to express extreme emotion and dislike or like for anything. And with Charlie, regardless of what you think of him, and regardless of your opinion on any of the things that he said that may be deemed controversial, he did it in a nonviolent way. He went into colleges and had debates with people and shared his opinions. And our country is based on a beautiful thing called diversity of thought. Okay? That's why we're here. That's why I'm able to make this video. That's why you're able to disagree with it. That's why the things that are posted online are available to say, is because we have that freedom. When it spills over into the real world, in situations like school shootings, a vast majority of which have been done by transgender people. That's just the facts of who's doing it, okay? Mentally ill people are the only people who would kill children and shoot schools. I don't care what they identify as. If you're killing children to try to prove a point, you are mentally unstable. To kill anyone for the color of their skin, like the woman in the subway, who you can physically see the videos of the man saying, "Got that white girl," that is a hate crime. Whether it's white on black or black on white, it is unacceptable. And whether it's left versus right, black versus white, anything else, right? The biggest thing that we have is the ability to, when we go out in the real world and we put these machines down, people don't act like that. People are typically good to other people. The problem with what happened to Charlie is the same thing I've been saying for a long time. You foster these places of absolute hate, and people think that it's real, right? Most people are not intelligent. Most people are dumb. They are easily manipulated. You can believe me or not, but 5 years ago, you had to stand 6 feet apart from people based off nothing. You had to close your business based off nothing. When you look at everything that's come out, it was all made up. And they've said that. And yet there's been no accountability for any of it. They've said the shots were going to do this. Never happened. There was no proof of this. It never actually became anything. And magically, no accountability has been had for this. You have these people who shoot schools. You have this criminal who killed that woman in cold blood, who had been criminally convicted 14 times, roaming the streets. And regardless of any of the severity of those, there has been no accountability. I believe that ends today. I can tell you one way that I know for sure, that it will be ending, at least in the circles that I run. Over the last few years, because I've seen this coming, I've seen they're going to do something to somebody who it's going to be irreparable. And I believe Charlie is that person. And I have talked to hundreds, legitimately hundreds of veterans and law enforcement and firemen and business owners and blue-collar workers and influencers, hundreds and hundreds of them over the last few years. And I asked them about this plan, and magically they've all said, yeah, we all do this. And I'm going to share that with you now. Not to scare you, but so that you understand the truth. The reason that you don't see cities being burnt down today is because typically the conservative side does not do that, because they're made up of, typically, if you look at who votes the hardest towards the conservative side, it is business owners, blue-collar workers, veterans, and law enforcement. Basically the people with the 400 million guns. Okay? And I've had this conversation with almost all of them, hundreds of these conversations, and they all came to this conclusion when I thought it was an idea. Every single one of us on our street, in every city in America, knows exactly if shit goes sideways, they're not going to go to the grocery stores. They're not going to go and try to fight for a loaf of bread. They'll come next door and take yours. And there's a list of who's first. And the people who are condoning the murder of anyone are first. The people who want to push this rhetoric and this hate are first. The people who have no common sense and are weak are first, because they're the easiest targets. So understand that if something absolutely crazy does go down and things do break out, you will not see us in the chaos. We will take what we need when we need it from the people who are the weakest. This is a common understanding. And I want you to be very, very understanding of what that means. Also, for the people using this and trying to throw gun control in your face, this did nothing to help your argument. It actually furthered and entrenched anyone who's pro-gun. And I'm going to tell you why. Because if that side's willing to politically assassinate somebody for speaking, then they are bringing a gun to a fight. That is what they did. That is the action that was taken. Now, I'm sure we will find out more, but that's assuming you trust the people telling you. But at the end of the day, Charlie Kirk was killed because he is a very conservative, outspoken person who goes around to colleges and debates, and to be honest, is probably one of the major factors in the reason that Trump made such a massive turnout for the younger generation. He is that linchpin. He was the greatest person for them to get rid of. And they did that. So they have chosen to go that route. They have chosen to politically go after the opponents who have all the guns, who have been trained to defend this country, who have sworn oaths to defend this country, and who take their freedoms very seriously. Charlie's biggest freedom was life, and that was taken away from him. His second was speech. And now there's two little kids. Whenever I see him walking up to the stage with his little girl, when he was on Fox and Friends a couple weeks ago, there was a video of his little girl running up and giving him a big hug. And she's never going to get to do that again. That was a man. I didn't agree with everything he said. I don't have to. It's not my job. But our country was founded on the mutual respect to have disagreement and not lose your life over it. That's the beauty of diversity. You come from one place, I come from another. We may not always agree, but we can learn to understand where each other is coming from, regardless of if we end up agreeing or not. That's not the point. The point is to be able to have civil discourse. And the word civil has been taken out with the death of Charlie. And I believe now you will start to see the ugly side of the other side. I believe that you will start to see zero tolerance with these people. And I want to personally make sure that every single person knows this is how I will be approaching things, and how I think a lot of people that I know are now approaching things. We will not have the benefit of the doubt. If you threaten or come at us in any aggressive manner whatsoever, whether it be yelling, whether it be physically coming at us, whether it be anything, we will not ask questions. We will send you to face judgment in the next place that you go, wherever that may be that you believe. There will be more locked doors. There will be personal carry in everywhere that you go. There will be an activated conservative movement that is carrying armed and ready at all times. That hasn't been the case because we've mainly kept it to the internet. But it is proven that it is spilling over, and it is proven that it is now a life-threatening thing if you support a certain side of the aisle. So you have two choices. You can continue to be ignorant to that fact, but everywhere you look, you will see evidence of it. And logically, that's the truth. You can choose to live in ignorance of that fact, or you can choose to be prepared for that moment when it may happen to you. And I'm going to tell you right now, almost every single person that I've talked to in the last 24 hours, they will send you away first and ask questions later. There will be no threat. The threat will be neutralized upon existence. There will be no, maybe this person's having a bad day, or maybe this person's mentally unwell, or maybe this person's going through something. Don't care. Go through it in the next life. Because we are all now in a heightened threat for the safety of us and our family, and there has been no accountability. These people are allowed to roam free. They're allowed to shoot people. They're allowed to stab people. They're allowed to end lives. That is the level that they will go. You will not get to go hug your baby ever again. And that is not a risk that I am ever going to take. That is not something that I would ever wish on anyone. And that is not something that should ever be in question. When I was growing up, if you had a disagreement, you might have gotten a fist fight, but both sides went home. One might have went home with a black eye, but one side went home. Now that's not the case. So you have two choices. You can continue to be a pacifist and sit back and allow this to happen. Or you can say, nah, I'm done. Let God sort them. And I can tell you for a fact, the overwhelming majority of people that I talk to not only understand, but are more angry and more prepared than I am. I've always been in the center. I've voted for both sides. I do not have conservative values for the most part. I believe in live and let live. The key word is live. And as soon as that starts being taken away, I have no logical choice left but to be at a heightened sense of awareness, a heightened sense of fear, and a heightened sense of anticipation in case something were to go south. Now, I will never condone an eye for an eye. I will never condone going out and just destroying one of these people for no reason. To say tit for tat, to say you got Charlie, we're gonna get this person. I think that's wrong. But I think you should be very careful with what you say to who. I think you should be very careful with getting your emotions out of check during any altercation. And I think you should be damn sure that whatever you do not threaten the person across from you unless you are committed to going 100% in that direction. Because that's where we are, and that's where we're going. And I don't care about your opinion on it. It doesn't matter what you think. It doesn't matter what you think is virtuous or right or wrong. That's what's happening. That's what the people on that side now, on the right side, are doing now. You don't have an opinion on the matter. It will never change what they just watched all over Twitter of someone getting their neck blown out for having political discourse, for having a girl stabbed in the neck for being white. There is no more tolerance. There is no more second chance. There is no more, I hope this person gets help or gets better. It's all gone. There is no fuse. There is no forgiveness. There is no hope. It is win or lose. It is live or die. Act accordingly.